Am I the a-hole for evicting my roommates after buying the condo we rented together? I live in a small condo, about 600 square feet, with my roommate Caitlin. We didn't know each other before moving in. She rents the bigger room and I rent the smaller one. Our landlord told us she wants to sell the condo, and I jumped in on the opportunity to buy it. She sold it to me almost 15% below market price, so it's great. I already gave her the deposit and we will sign the papers in a few days. Then the condo will be mine 3 months from now. After me giving our landlord a deposit, Caitlin was ecstatic. She brought a champagne to celebrate, told me I'm the best, and that she will save so much money from now on by not having to pay rent. I don't know where she got this idea from, and I thought our landlord already told her how long she has until she has to move out. But it seems not. I told Caitlin that it's a small condo and don't need a roommate anymore. She will have to move out in 3 months, but I'd gladly help her look for a new place. She flipped out. She asked me if I seriously want to evict her and throw her out on the street. She said she thought we were friends, and if she had the money to buy the place, she would have let me stay for free because that's what decent people do. Then she switched and started bargaining with me that I can have the bigger room and she will stay in the small room. She won't bother much, and so on. I feel a bit guilty. I really thought it was given that she will have to move out. Maybe I should have told Caitlin before giving the deposit to our landlord. I feel sorry for her. I know she doesn't make a lot of money, but at 26, I don't want to live in a small room anymore, especially if I own a condo. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Our landlord told us that she will put the condo on the market in a few weeks, but we don't have to worry. She will tell the new owner that she won't give over the keys right away, so we have enough time to look for a new place. We are month to month. I didn't think Caitlin would think she didn't have to move out anymore, just because I'm the one who bought a condo. As for the legal issues, where we live, there is no such thing as a lease continuing with a new owner. I can't evict Caitlin because I'm not the one she has a contract with. Her lease is with the current landlord, and landlord has to give Caitlin a written notification, which seems like she hasn't done yet. I'm still buying the house. In my first edit, I explained what our landlord told us 2 weeks ago. She first announced that she will sell soon and we will need to move out. Then I talked to her and eventually made an offer. Now for the top comments. She immediately assumed she wouldn't have to pay rent? Why? To me, this would have been a conversation of if I would then pay rent to you, or if I should start looking for a place. You gave her ample time to find a new place and offered to help look. Not the a-hole. That's the part I don't understand either. Pretty entitled for someone to assume that they won't have to pay rent somewhere. I hope he's not the a-hole at all. Right. I would have at least assumed I'd still have to pay the same rent. I am disturbed that Caitlin first thought was that she would live rent-free. That is incredibly entitled. Did she think you got it for free? If you want to do a nice gesture, you could help her look for a new place, or help her pay for movers, etc., depending on the severity of her financial situation. But you are not entitled to keep her as a roommate, nor should you feel an ounce of regret for doing what is right for you. Congratulations on your new place. Not the a-hole. Not only did she expect that she'd stay rent-free, but she initially expected to keep everything the same, with her in the larger room. The audacity. Not the a-hole. Once you have officially bought the condo, find a good landlord lawyer and legally notify her of how long she has to stay. If she stays beyond that, you will have to evict her, and having a lawyer to do it properly is important. Be careful that she doesn't do any damage to the place. Also, make sure the landlord gives you the security deposit both she and you paid. You will have to return her portion. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for being mad at my fat roommate who has been wearing my clothes and completely ruining them? Recently, I have been noticing that any new clothes I get are becoming less tight and looser a few days after first purchasing them. It was making me doubt myself if I was the reason for that, like maybe I was gaining weight and was loosening them when I tried them on myself. But then I found out that it's actually my roommate who has been trying them out for a few hours when I wasn't home. I went really crazy at her. She basically ruined like 5 new sets of expensive clothes. They are so loose now because of her fat body. It all looks so ridiculous and uncomfortable in them as I'm much skinnier than her. Her excuse was that they looked so nice that she wanted to try them out, especially when she has a problem finding new clothes she can wear, her words. And I don't like it because she didn't tell me about it until I caught her myself. She said that she thought it was something so insignificant that she didn't need permission from me. Let's just say that things didn't go well. and I decided to get a lock for my closet, which offended her and got her on the defensive, especially when I called her fat, which she is. She is literally obese. She is 80 kilograms, 157 centimeters. Am I the a-hole? Note, I didn't insult her with fat. It wasn't an insult. It was just me telling her that our body sizes are very different, which is where I used the word fat to describe her body size, which it took as an insult, and that offended her and got her on the defensive. Not the a-hole. It's your property. And not asking if they can try them on is a kind of invasion of privacy and a sanitary issue. Good luck with this roommate of yours, OP. Yes, I suppose it would be more diplomatic to phrase it as too big, but facts are still facts. Not the a-hole. The last thing I will do is be diplomatic if someone is stealing from me, and she very well knew what she was doing. Not the a-hole. Not sure why people are saying everyone sucks here. She literally ruined your clothes because she's bigger than you. Fat. That's the word. Could have you used different words? Yes. Agreed. I am fat. It is not a bad word. It is an accurate description of my body. I wouldn't put it on someone else's clothes at all, but I especially wouldn't do it when I knew that our difference in size would cause damage to the clothes. I agree with you. I have too much fat on my body, therefore I'm fat. I don't like being called fat. I don't think anyone does. But I wouldn't put myself in that position to anger someone by basically stealing, if only for a while, someone else's clothes and ruining them. Not the a-hole. Who tries on someone else's clothes, especially expensive clothes, without asking? It was mean to call her fat, but she has to know you're not the same size since she's been stretching out your clothing. You would have been better off explaining to her what happened and asking her to just buy them from you at that point because they can no longer fit you properly, before you go verbally insulting her and throwing locks on your closet door. You would have been better off explaining to her what happened. But why? The roommate is fat, not stupid. The roommate knows what happened. The roommate is the reason all of this happened. Next story. Am I the a-hole for my response when my boyfriend brought up the apartment purchase/ownership in front of his family? Context: I, female 29, have been with my boyfriend Adam, male 27, for 2.5 years. He's the quiet/shy type. It's very hard to get him to open up about what bothers him. And for now, I'm the one with an income. We get along easily, though he can be a bit unreasonable sometimes. Example, he doesn't cook because he's worried I won't like his food, but still cooks for himself, and it smells pretty telling that his cooking is good. Another example is that he doesn't do most chores, saying he's worried he might break/damage something. It's frustrating, but we're working on fixing it. Now on to the more complicated issue. I put money aside since 2015 to buy an apartment, and I'm finally able to get it done this year. When I told him this, he got agitated and said I should wait a little longer till we're married. But I said no. He started complaining about how bad he feels about seeing me buy the apartment myself without having him contribute. I asked what I was supposed to do because it kinda sounded like a he problem, no offense. But he got so worked up and gave me 2 options. 1 is I put his name on the title, and 2 is not buy the apartment till marriage so it'll become a shared marital asset. I said no and that was final and he should drop it. He did eventually. Then at his family's house, I was taken aback when he started complaining about the apartment, and again told me to either put his name on a title or wait till marriage to buy it, cause he feels like there's a huge power imbalance here, and that he can't bring himself to accept it. He also said that it makes him feel like he contributes nothing. I snapped and said, the reason you feel like you contribute nothing is because you literally contribute nothing, and I suggest you fix that by actually finding a job and having a decent income. His family looked shocked. He glanced at me, then got up and walked away. I waited for him to come back, but had to go home because his mom said he felt too overwhelmed and wanted some space. She then basically started shaming me for my statement and hinted about financial mistreatment and control over her son. He's not home yet, demanding another tell about the apartment, probably expecting me to agree to one option. Added in case it matters, he has a disability that limits his job opportunities. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. 1. Second paragraph sounds a lot like weaponized incompetence. 2. He brought it up in front of family to get mama to back him. 3. He sounds like a bit of a leech, to be honest. And 4. For what reason does he want his name on a title if he hasn't put money into it? The answer to 4 is so that he can break up with her, force the sale and get money out of it. He doesn't have a job, so that would be the only way he's getting any money. This, take the apartment and lose the boyfriend. It will not get better. I won't clean as this is not my apartment. Why would I help move in your apartment? And for the next boyfriend, if he goes to the husband stage, keep your apartment on a prenup. In summation, my unemployed boyfriend, who does no housework, refuses to cook, only for me as he will happily cook for himself, and contributes nothing financially, expects me to give him half of my apartment. He wants this to be a marital asset because he wants to be able to take half of it freely when he walks away. Girl, you are not the a-hole. But why are you even in this relationship? I will seriously never understand these women who describe their men and there's not a single positive attribute to him. Like, girl, you clearly have cognition enough to realize your boyfriend does sweet nothing for you, so why are you with him? It comes down to the person thinking that having someone, anyone, is better than being alone. We've all been there at some point. I honestly do not know why Opie is with this guy though. He sounds like an absolute loser. Opie has her bar set on the floor. Not the a-hole. He's playing a con and he literally told you. He wants his name on the home or he wants you to marry him so he still legally gets the home as your husband. I suggest leaving before you purchase the home, so he has no legal claim at all. This guy's doing a marinara flag dance with his weaponized incompetence. Put my name on a property I gave zero money towards? Absolutely not. Opie, you nailed it when you told him he contributes all of nothing to your relationship. Why on earth are you dragging this relationship out? That's not a relationship. He's basically demanding you adopt him. Not the a-hole. Being single with your own apartment is better than carrying the dead weight around for life. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for asking my wife to help pay for private school despite separate finances? I have been married to Stella for 7 years now. Together, we have 5 children. Daughters from my previous relationship, Kira 11 and May 7. A son and daughter from Stella, Brianna 13 and Jaden 8. And a son together, Lucas 2. My 2 are 50-50 custody while my stepchildren only see their bio father every second weekend. My wife and I agreed to split finances and have mostly kept separate, aside from a joint account for essentials, bills, groceries, house, etc. We both used to be high earners, though had terrible hours. When our parental leave for Lucas was finishing, our children begged us not to go back to work, that they hated the before/after school care and wanted us. In the end, my wife went back but I quit and got a new job. It was much lower pay but essentially school hours, so I was able to be there for our kids. Stella has been paying more of our joint expenses, but otherwise has been fine. I wouldn't say the split has been firm though. I do buy stuff for my stepchildren or pay when I take them all out. It's more the big payments that are separate. Brianna goes to a private high school. I was talking about high schools to my sister since Kira is year 6 and realized that on my current pay, I won't be able to afford to send her with her sister. My ex is barely willing to pay the costs related to public school, let alone a private one. The school is so much better than the nearby public school, and I know Kira wants to go to her sister's school, so I try to talk to Stella and ask if she would be willing to help. It's education, and she's close with my daughters, so it's not like I'm asking her to pay for something crazy. Stella refused, and I would have accepted it even though I was annoyed. But then she went on saying that I knew we were split finances, and I made my choice when I took the lower pay job. That I got more time for less money, so I can't complain that I'm paid less. I got pretty upset about that. I didn't stay home for fun. It was for our family, our children. I loved my job, but I had to sacrifice it for them. It was worth it, of course, but still. Stella basically said that it was my decision, so tough luck that she's not going to finance me. I got angry with that and told her that she knew the consequences of her job, so she can deal with her children then. Her money won't be used on mine, so I won't use my extra time on hers. They can stay in care until our old hours. Stella got angry back, accusing me of using her for money and calling me a complete a-hole for suggesting what I did for my stepchildren. We argued pretty bad. She thinks I'm being greedy, selfish, and petty. But it's not like I'm asking to mooch. I would still foot 50% and get my ex to contribute as much as I can get her to. Yes, it was my choice. But it was for all the children, for our family. Besides, I literally take care of my stepchildren more than my own, 85% versus 50%. I'm not just being lazy or focusing on my own children. I've been there for them all. So I think it's frankly unfair for her to refuse to help even a little. But obviously she thinks I'm being an a-hole. Everyone sucks here, but you more. Like heavily leaning you're the a-hole. You needed to discuss this when you decided to cut your hours. It doesn't sound like the decision was in any way a mutual one made between you and your wife, but all you. Despite that, your wife has been willing to pay more for your shared expenses, which at least somewhat compensates for the extra childcare you were doing. For some reason, you waited until your kid was about to start high school to even think about where she'd go and how you'd afford it. You sprung on your wife that despite your prior agreements being different, you want her to pay tens of thousands in tuition she wasn't planning on. Also, no kid needs to go to private high school. Your daughter will be fine at a public school. I also assume you are not paying any of Brianna's tuition. So she's going to have to pay full tuition for her kids and half for yours. That's a ton of money. I don't know exactly what she makes, but she'd have to be incredibly wealthy for that to be chump change. Your wife also should have been more proactive about thinking through how all this would play out. You should have made a thorough and explicit agreement when you quit your job. This marriage sounds doomed, honestly. Never change jobs for less pay without considering all of the financial implications. Don't change jobs that will have lifestyle implications. Yep, money is way more important than your kids. This subs sometimes, I swear. Changing the lifestyle of a partnership that you wish to continue should be discussed as much as possible and agreed upon. Unilateral decisions make for short partnerships.